This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnial Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Happy Sunday, everyone. It's a bright new start and a very hot, sunny Sunday right here in the heart of Sharjah. You're listening to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world.
Yes, indeed. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, but also it is very hot right here in Sharjah and the UAE. So we're talking about a Rainmaker, which is a UAE-funded electric drone project that is designed to be the new cloud seeding program.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be so easy to be able to cloud seed nowadays. No need for big equipment because a single drone can get the job done. Coming up on the show, we have very exciting news about WhatsApp's new terms and conditions for all those who choose to not agree for the application to listen in to their conversations with business accounts, because news have it that they're no longer going to be limiting functions if you don't go ahead and accept the brand new policy.
Now, just last week, we did talk about how Twitter did relaunch its verification process, and a lot of people were happy, but now Twitter is pausing their verification once again. Why is that happening? Well, we're going to be telling you all about that in just a few moments.
You know the Arabic saying, Hani, ya farha ma tammat?
Yes, the happiness didn't stay.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel like it's with it is with when it comes to Twitter. Coming up on the show, we have a very interesting gadget to talk to you about, which is the Apple Airpods Pro 2 that are going to be coming in with new fitness features in 2022. Could AirPods and headphones have something to help us with fitness? You got to stay tuned to find out all about it.
Yes, and at the UAE AI conference, scientists have unveiled a grain-sized robotic implant that will fight Alzheimer's. We're going to be telling you what that is all about in just a few moments, so keep Pulse 95 locked because we're going to be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
It's getting pretty hot in the UAE, and I wouldn't mind if it rained a little bit just to give us some cool breeze. But now, we're talking about a Rainmaker now. We do know in the UAE, they are very big, and we're very big on cloud seeding, and we do know a lot of devices and gadgets go into cloud seeding. But now, we're talking about how cloud seeding can be done by an electric drone project, which is designed to be the new cloud seeding, and UAE has funded this entirely. Now, scientists have developed special drones that can fire an electric charge into clouds to make them rain, potentially paving the way for downpours right here in the Gulf region.
Right here in the UAE, we have lots of creative drones. If you think about it, Hani, we've talked about flying burgers, which is basically a drone that can deliver burgers straight to your homes. We've talked about flying pharmacies, where drones can deliver medications, and now these drones are able to also possibly bring us some rain if Mother Nature collaborates. Now, this project was led by British researchers, and soon enough we'll be seeing fleets of unmanned drones that are replacing the manned aircrafts that would typically seed clouds with chemicals to create showers. So in the past, scientists or researchers would have to be inside the helicopter that was dispersing all of the chemicals that would possibly help create every rainfall that is funded or done by cloud seeding. But now these drones that have been designed by scientists at the University of Reading are actually beaming electricity straight into those clouds using an electric charge to help expand the water droplets, and that causes the clouds to bond together and fall as rain.
Yes, just like Omnia said, normally to encourage the rain, a manned aircraft is flown into the clouds to lace them with salt particles to kind of encourage the clouds to produce rain. Now, while this technique has proved successful in the UAE, increasing rainfall up to 30%, we are now looking at a new method that is going to be considered to even produce more water. Now, the UAE has invested $1.4 million, so around 4 million dirhams, into the Reading University project, which it could enhance its ability to grow its own crops and even produce fresh water if the innovation does succeed. Now, we're looking at a very big, let's say, positive point when it does come to farming and crops, but I'm selfish. I want to look at how it's going to affect my weather conditions. I want it to be nice and cool. I mean, it's great and amazing that, we're going to have fresh water and crops, but at the same time, we as the people are going to cool down right here in the UAE.
Absolutely. And now we can do it with a much more cost-effective solution, because those drones can actually be a lot less expensive than having to plan a manned aircraft to go and get the process done. It's also interesting because the promise behind charging those droplets or those rain particles is that the technique might work so well that they're never going to go back to using the existing cloud seeding operation. So this is going to hopefully mean that in the coming months we'll be seeing drones circling the skies, just making sure that we get rain often enough right here in the UAE.
Yes, and I do hope this does come as soon as possible and they start trialing it out right here. I mean, I do give them my full support, as today was a little bit too hot for my likings. And, I leave my house, my eyes are a little bit dry. And I get into my car, my eyes are still dry but watery, and I can't see anything. I have my sunglasses on. It's a horrible sight to see and feel. Let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215, do it slots, or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. But every time I remember cloud seeding, I remember how a lot of the times a lot more rain would drop than the intended, and we would have flooded roads and flooded areas. And I remember back in 2018, I was going to university, and the whole airport road in Sharjah was flooded, and you
couldn't. I think they closed the road.
They didn't expect the rain to drop as
heavily as it
did. And I was already on the road, and everyone else was on the road with me going to university, and I left my house at 7 a.m. Yeah. I had to go. I think I reached my house at 11 a.m. So it took me around 4 hours. I went to university. They said, hey, class is canceled. So then I had to go back, and everything was flooded, and I didn't have petrol either.
Oh my God.
So I was like close to E. So alhamdulillah, I lived to see another day. But again, I wouldn't mind again if a flood did happen.
We missed the rain, especially this year. I mean, it barely rained right here in the UAE, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see one-of-a-kind innovation being trialed right here in the UAE. This is actually one of the very first times that scientists have decided to use drones to help stimulate rainfall. And around the world, especially in countries like the UK, they actually complain of how much it rains. They get depressed. I think it's called the SAD syndrome. So they get depressive episodes every winter season because of how much it rains and how little sun they see. But right here in the UAE, we're lucky because we get lots and lots of sun. Keep Pulse 95 locked, because coming up, we're talking all about WhatsApp actually revising its terms and conditions. What could this mean? Keep Pulse 95 locked.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Your quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world, in the UAE and around the world. And today's news has a lot to do with WhatsApp, because we've seen a lot of drama coming from WhatsApp ever since they decided to go ahead and introduce the new feature that would allow them to listen in to our conversations with business accounts, in hopes that this would help improve the customer experience as they learn from the different errors that take place. But with those new terms and conditions, people didn't like them, especially because it was like not even a choice, but rather like an ultimatum. If you don't accept those terms and conditions, you can no longer use WhatsApp. They revised their decision. They decided to postpone them a little bit, and then after postponing them, they decided that, you know what, we'll give people the option to accept them or to not accept them, but if they choose not to, we will basically deny them from using certain features. And now they have actually revised that decision as well, because now WhatsApp is not going to be limiting any functions if you as a user decide to not accept the new policy.
Yes, now the Facebook-owned platform has filed a lawsuit against the Indian government in the Delhi High Court over chat traceability, and did go ahead with implementing its controversial user privacy policy from May 15th, and actually did say that those who do not accept new changes will see limited functionality in the coming weeks. But then, in a statement given, WhatsApp did say that it won't restrict any functionality even if the users don't accept the policy, but that will be just for now. Now, we do know that WhatsApp did roll out its privacy policy globally, including in India, where it does have more than 400 million users. Now, those users will not immediately lose their accounts or even face curtailed functionalities, but they will have to eventually go through those limited functions if they do fail to accept the new norms in the due course of time. So it does look like WhatsApp is trying to push it as long as they can until people kind of forget about it and all this all this ruckus kind of dies over and people can just say, okay, whatever, I'll accept it, and they won't think twice about it. But again, we're looking at how a lot of countries, especially in Europe, they are trying to say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? You know, Europe has a no tolerance when it does come to privacy, when it does come to especially when it comes to Apple and the right to repair. So the European Union doesn't mess around when it does come to these big tech giants who think they have the jurisdiction just over every country in the world, especially in the United States. Now, in the U.S., they are kings because if you got money and if it makes money, then it makes sense. But around the world, a lot of these countries, a lot of these governments think about the ethics, right?
Yeah.
And again, this just isn't ethically correct.
Exactly. And these new terms and conditions actually went into effect for those who chose to accept them on May 15. But what they're trying to do is, as far as of now, if you don't go ahead and accept the new terms and condition, WhatsApp will continuously remind you from time to time about the update, and they'll also be reminding you that when you're choosing different features, when you're using different features on Facebook, whether it is communicating with a business, having a chat with a business owner, asking about a certain product, they will remind you that a feature like this exists on WhatsApp. So why don't you go ahead and use it as well? So it's an interesting way of going about this. I don't like how they're just kind of putting it to sleep until people forget about it, and then they'll just go ahead and accept it. And I think part of the reason why so much drama was done on those new terms and conditions is because of the whole new iOS update, where as an app developer, you have to ask all of your users for that acceptance to be able to track their data. A WhatsApp spokesperson did also say that they are now requiring messaging apps to trace chats, which is basically the equivalent of keeping like a fingerprint of every single message that is sent on the application itself. We want to hear from all of you though. 4215 do or Itisalat or send into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. What are your thoughts on those brand new terms and conditions? Did you go ahead and accept them? I personally did, because I feel like there's just no way out of it. What about you, Hani?
I do believe if anyone wants to use WhatsApp in the past couple of months, they have accepted it. And again, we look at WhatsApp trying to think that, hey, this will die over. And I'll be 100% honest with you, I don't think WhatsApp is or did as bad as the world kind of paints them to be. It's just Elon Musk, he wanted to promote, forgot the name of Signal. He wanted to promote Signal, and he wanted people to go and download it. And the only way to promote Signal was to bash WhatsApp. And we do know, as the second richest man in the world, he does have a big influence. Let us know your guys' thoughts. 4215 do our slots or on Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking about Twitter and how they have paused their verification once again.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Now, just over a week after relaunching verification, Twitter is pausing it once again. Now, while we do know for a couple of years, Twitter paused verification on their app. And then just last week, they said, hey, we'll relaunch it once again. But again, they have paused it, and we're about to tell you why. Now, Twitter has relaunched its verification program just last week, allowing anyone to apply for a blue checkmark. But the company is pausing accepting new applications because of the volume of the applications it has already received. Now, it's kind of like a supply and demand type of thing when it does come to the Twitter verification. For a while, only higher up celebrities, people who mean something in this world, not the average influencer.
That hurt.
This is what it is.
So only the people who mean something.
Who mean something. Political people, government bodies, media, people who are for the people, right, could get these blue checks because, again, they were a source of information. Maybe it wasn't always true, but the information was given. And now Twitter said, hey, we'll give those influencers, we'll give those people who are famous on TikTok, on Instagram, this blue check. And obviously everyone did flock to send their applications in.
Yeah.
But Twitter got too many.
Yes, indeed. And actually, what I like about this time with them reopening the verification program is that there were actual standards to who they would pick. There were 6 categories that if you feel like you're one of them, you can go ahead and submit an application. So it was targeting journalists, it was targeting people who have a position in sports that they think they are or they could be a good source of information for all those who are interested in sports. And there were so many other categories. But after closing the program for so many years, people were so excited to get a chance to submit an application. And so Twitter received way more applications than they were prepared for. And that's exactly why they decided to just hit the pause button for a little bit of a while and to get time to review the ones that have already been submitted, but they will be reopening the requests very soon. They even pinky swore in their tweet. Now, when they did officially open the program for applications on the 20th of May, they did send out like a caution that the timeline of receiving or hearing back about your request could stretch out. They may, as a user, you may hear back from them in a few days, or it could take up to a few weeks depending on how many open applications is in their queue. And the volume of application is obviously so large that Twitter has made the choice to pause receiving any more applications entirely just 8 days after the program was reopened.
Yes, now for a while actually, Twitter did suspend the verification process, and it did happen all the way back in 2017, so around 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Twitter did suspend that as it did verify a white supremacist. And again, back then it was a robot, an AI, something of that sort that would verify these accounts. It would check whether or not they were on that checklist. But now Twitter said all humans will be going through those applications and checking them, right? There was no AI, there was no computer, nothing. It would be a fully human verification process, which is 100% better than AI, because sometimes AI will not catch those keywords, or maybe something will be a little bit suspicious, because we do know there's a lot of controversy when it does come to these Twitter verified accounts. As again, I told you guys, just a spur of misinformation ever since the U.S. presidential elections back in 2017 and all the way back in 2020. Now, again, I do believe that we will be seeing Twitter have a little bit different approach when it does come to verifying accounts. It will be a lot more careful in verifying those accounts. But again, I feel like it's okay to suspend them, right? They want to get rid of the applications they have already, and then get back to the new ones.
I actually respect them, because instead of receiving so many that they don't respond to some people, they're knowing when to hit the pause button. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about a brand new gadget that could potentially help you track your fitness goals. It is not a wearable as per se, but rather a pair of headphones. What is it, and could it come in handy? Keep Pulse 95 locked to find out all about it.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with. Pulse 95.
Whenever we're working out or going out on a walk, whatever form of physical activity that we choose to do, a lot of the times there is one best friend that every single person has, and that's a pair of headphones, AirPods, headset, you name it. We always enjoy listening to some music or listening to a podcast whenever we're doing some form of physical activity. But what if our headphones could help us with our fitness goals? What if they could have fitness tracking features coming very soon? Because this is exactly what Apple is doing or planning to do with their Apple Airpods Pro 2 that will be coming in 2022, and they may just have lots of fitness tracking features.
Yes, now we do know that Apple is preparing to launch the 3rd generation AirPods this year, and does plan to release the 2nd generation of AirPods Pro next year. Now, in line with the previous leaks and rumors, there has been an explanation that Apple is readying a 3rd generation AirPod for launch later this year. Now, those updated earbuds will actually have, or apparently come with, a new case and do feature shorter stems, which do broadly mirror the design of the current Apple Airpods Pro. Now, looking to 2022, they also did say that the 2nd generation AirPod Pro will feature an updated motion sensor and have a focus on fitness tracking. Now, Apple has apparently tested a smaller design that does eliminate the stems on AirPods Pro, and that stemless design is expected to debut on the new Beats Studio Buds that are rumored to launch just next month. Now, I'm looking at how this would even be plausible to have a fitness tracker in your ear. I'm probably going to say maybe it's going to count the steps, maybe it's going to count just the steps. That's all I can think about, because the only thing that would go up and down is maybe the AirPod while it's in your ear when you're walking, maybe track the distance. I don't think it can catch your heart rate in your ear.
Rumors actually have it that it may just do that. So one of the analysts named Ku actually did say that one of the features that will be implemented in the AirPods hopefully soon is an optical heart rate sensor. Imagine measuring your heart rate just through your ears. Apple is actually looking to integrate light sensors into the AirPods for biometric health monitoring features that will work very similarly to a pulse oximeter. So they'll be able to measure the level of oxygen in your blood, which I think is pretty neat. They're also going to be looking to detect physiological metrics, which basically means your temperature, your perspiration levels, so how much you're sweating, and that's all done through the skin contact that you're having with the AirPods and the built-in motion sensors that are found in those headsets.
Now, it does look pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think that if this was a little bit more expensive than the current AirPods, I would buy them, because we already have our Apple Watch. We already have, Apple Watch just seems more viable because you're wearing it all day. Why would you wear AirPods all day? Now, it's just not good for your ears. That's number one. And number two, it might get a little bit uncomfortable. But Apple is said to not currently be working on a second generation of its AirPods Max over-ear headphones, which did cause actually a lot of ruckus in the online space, because we do know that Apple actually bought Beats by Dr. Dre and did actually label them as those studio headsets. But now AirPods Max, which also is kind of competing with their own product, but it actually has discussed launching an additional color option for the AirPods Max in the future. Me personally, I'm gonna give you my personal opinion. I would not buy the new AirPods Pro, and I'm still rocking my AirPods from 2015. I do believe that's the first generation AirPods. They work fine, they work perfect. I actually just only use them when I go to the gym. But again, I wouldn't want to just track my heart rate monitor or just track how many steps I do when I have these on, and if I do have these on, they'll be in the gym.
True.
Right?
I agree. I mean, why unless you're in the mood to listen to some music or you're working out, I don't see why you'd wear your AirPods to track your health. Watches just seem a much better option, and a lot of people do agree with that. So people's reactions on these rumors, which a lot of the times these rumors do actually end up being truthful, is that they don't necessarily want health monitoring features. What they want is an integrated AirTag within those AirPods. So
yes,
I think that would be very helpful, because I can't count to you, Hani, how many times do people lose their case, lose their AirPods, lose one of them, and then just can't find it.
Yeah, and if they would integrate a sound with it, like a little small speaker that when you look for your AirPods and you can't find them, you hit them, it goes beep, 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 beep. Something like that.
Like
but again,
the watch, how it is with the phone, isn't it? Like
yes,
the ping option.
Yeah, you can ping your phone. But again, I'm looking at this and I'm just saying that it kind of feels like an overkill, because again, we're looking at the new Apple Watch series. There's a lot of rumors, and we will be telling you guys about those rumors later on this week. But again, there's a lot of rumors about the new Apple Watch that will be doing a lot of things. So why would I buy a brand new Apple Watch and a brand new AirPod? I mean, if you got money, why not? But I mean, not everyone lives on a bank.
Absolutely. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about a new invention that was unveiled right here in the UAE at an AI conference. This is a very cool invention, because it's like the Neuralink that Elon Musk constantly talks about, but a bit more realistic. It's a grain-sized robotic implant that is fighting Alzheimer's. How beneficial could this be? Keep Pulse 95 locked to find out all about it.
Check this out. Check this out.
Pulse 95.
Scientists have unveiled a grain-sized robotic implant that will fight the Alzheimer's disease, and that was actually found or unveiled at a Dubai AI conference right here in the UAE. Now, we do know that neurological conditions, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, can have life-altering consequences for people, rendering them to be unable to perform day-to-day tasks that are simple for most of us. Now, those techniques which do trigger stimulation by zapping the brain have been developed to tackle these alignments, but devices used for them do require holes to be drilled into a patient's skull.
Ow.
So we're looking at how this is actually a very complex procedure. And I think most of us have seen that video that an old man has Parkinson's disease, and they kind of flip a switch and his hand no longer shakes and he just holds it correctly.
Well, I haven't seen it actually. Really?
It's pretty old video when there was I don't know exactly. I'm not an expert when it comes to that.
They do get tremors though. Yeah.
Yeah, they start shaking their hand, but there was a device that was apparently implanted into the person's skull, and once they switched it on, he no longer
had the tremor?
Yeah, no longer started shaking. He could hold anything just nice and easy. But we're looking at a new type of device, which is a grain-sized robotic implant that might just be a game changer.
Yes, indeed. And it's amazing because a small device that you can embed in a person's heart can regulate their pulse. That's what we see with pacemakers. They are life-changing. And now this new brain implant could potentially stop tremors, stop seizures, you name it. It could potentially change the life of a person. Now, these gadgets are actually powered by machine learning, and the new device was being tested out by researchers. It was created at the University of Oxford, and it's going to be showcasing how capable is this implant right here in the UAE. So this tiny device is actually linked to a cloud-based platforms, and I love it because it cuts down all those surgeries. And mind you, honey, brain surgeries or neurological surgeries, they are very risky. Doctors, you always have to sign out. You sign papers granting your life. You sign papers that you're well aware that you could potentially have issues with, let's say, paralysis. There are so many risks to them. So with a device like this, there is no need for long-hour surgeries. There's no need to connect wires and stimulators to the brain. All you're talking about is a small implant that is totally non-invasive to put into the brain, and it tracks the changes in your brain function, giving real-time data for analysis for these doctors through machine learning. And then once that monitoring part is over, they can go ahead and zap the brain with an electric pulse that could potentially put an end to all those tremors with Parkinson's, to all the forgetfulness with Alzheimer's as well.
Yes, now it is called Kiwi, and Kiwi is a major breakthrough in a world where Parkinson's does affect around 10 million people, and more will be vulnerable to brain disorders, since twice as many are expected to grow older than 60 by the year 2050. So looking at how we are kind of doing a breakthrough technology now will mean in the future, hopefully, but unfortunately, I hope a lot of people don't get Parkinson's. But if you do get it, inshallah you don't get it, but if you do get it, you might have a solution, right?
Yeah, it's not a death statement anymore.
It's not that you can't do anything about it anymore. That's the beauty of technology. That is the beauty of medical innovation. Because as we do grow older, technology also does grow older as well and does get improved more and more. Now, Kiwi does join the list of medtech devices which were developed in the Middle East, just like wearables which are designed to cure disabilities via brainwaves, and even headgear that can provide relief from migraines without the use of drugs. I need this now.
Me too.
I get a lot of migraines. Hello.
Annie wants one of those right now.
Where can I have headgear that will cause... I'm going to Google search it now.
We'll talk about this tomorrow. So stay tuned for tomorrow's show to find out about the headgear that can actually help treat your migraines without needing a single drug. I think that is life-changing, to be honest, because the amount of drugs that people take just to get rid of migraines.
I took actually 2 migraine pills today.
No way.
Yes, I take them every day.
Bright and early migraine?
Every day.
Well, for all those who struggle with migraines like Hani, we do wish you a very fast recovery, and we'll be talking about a new innovation that could potentially help put an end to those annoying migraines. But this is great news for all those who have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease, because it's no longer a disease that has no fix, that there is no cure for. There is hope in the near future. Let us know your thoughts. Text us in at 4215, or it's still out there. Slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. We want to wish you a beautiful afternoon and a beautiful Sunday and a great start to your week. You can catch us again tomorrow. Same time, same place from 2 to 3 p.m. only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.